What's good, guys? Subi here, and I took this brand new brand from 0 to 100k in sales in just under 2 weeks. And with this brand, some crazy shit went down that nobody ever talks about in e-commerce, and it's pretty insane. I'll tell you guys later, but I'm gonna tell you all the ups, all the downs, just so you guys really learn what it's like to run all these brands. But for anybody new, I know, there's so much bullshit going around, so I'll just show you guys a couple stores I'm running just so you know it's legit. But besides that, let's get straight into it. Alrighty, so as you guys can see here, I launched this brand on October 10th, $0, and from there, it just scaled super fucking fast. And let's do a little bit of a refresh just so you guys can see. But yeah, I will tell you guys right now, what allowed me to scale this brand this fucking fast is product. It's always gonna be product. That's what lets you scale super fucking quick. Your creatives, your ads, your offer, all those things are super important, and I'll talk about them, but I will tell you, product research is the most important thing, and learning how to validate a product and get that dropshipping eye is what allowed me to, I launched this and I knew I'd scale it super quick, and that's what allowed me to do it. Just knowing what makes a good product and thinking about super deep desires. So I'll explain all this and I'll show you how exactly I found this product in just a second. So for product research and how I exactly found this product, I basically just brought a TikTok shop product all the way to Meta. And if you guys don't know, TikTok shop is literally just the pinnacle of just impulse buying, and it's driven by just affiliate marketing, meaning it's just real people making videos about a product and they get a commission every time it gets a sale. So essentially it gives you access to validated products and a bunch of content you can use and make ads with. So obviously I don't just go scrolling on my For You page trying to find these products. There's a bunch of tools you can use to scrape these TikTok shop products, but a lot of people, I'm sure you've heard of it, they use a tool called CalData, and that's what I use as well. And it essentially allows you to see how these TikTok shop products are growing, what's trending, and all the content that's associated with the product. So if you can really, really master getting a good product research eye, tools like this are literally a fucking goldmine, because you can just find a product and scale it so fast on Meta. Alright, so we're back on the drawing board, as you guys can see, and I'm just going to show you guys why TikTok shop products will work on Meta, because it's literally driven by the same thing. So right here, I just wrote out all the characteristics of these TikTok shop products, and as you guys can see, it's literally the same as all the characteristics of products that work on Meta, so Instagram and Facebook. So like I said, TikTok shop is driven all by affiliate marketing, and what happens is when you're just scrolling on your For You page, you're just watching brain rot fucking videos on your phone, you'll find a creator who makes a video about a product. And obviously people who will buy those products, they're not scrolling on TikTok to find products to buy. They're scrolling just to get dopamine, get brain rot, and if they do buy a product, it's usually on impulse. And it's really similar to how it works on Meta, because people who go on Meta, they're just there to scroll on their phone, scroll on Instagram, scroll on Facebook. So when they see a product pop up, they buy it off impulse. It's not like Amazon, or it's not like when you go to the store, when you go with intent to buy something, right? Dropshipping on these platforms is driven by impulse and making people buy something on a whim. It's all about tapping into their desires and figuring out how you can sell a product that will be a good impulse buy. On Amazon, you can sell stuff like paper clips and shit, but on TikTok Shop and Meta, you can't, because people who go to Amazon are looking to buy. But on TikTok Shop and Meta, they're going there just to scroll. So in order to get them to buy something, it's driven by impulse. So that's the first characteristic both these platforms share. So the second characteristic both these platforms share is that they're driven by UGC. So UGC is user-generated content, and it's basically an ad that's made by an actual person. The person gets the product, records a testimonial or a review of it, and it's an actual person speaking to you about the product. And there's so many different types of ads, right? There's voiceover ads that's AI voices and it's not an actual person speaking to you. There's ads with just music and text over it, like those fucking organic dropshipping videos.
The big one.
But what's up, guys, real quick, if y'all want to check out the community, the link's in the description. Cool, let's get back to the video. It is always going to be the best because it's made by an actual person. People like buying from other people that they like. So if you can get, content that's made by an actual human, it won't even feel like an ad. People will just feel like they're watching a review. And that is what works when you're selling to people who want to impulse buy, right? When people are just scrolling, they don't want to just hear an ad saying, oh, buy this product, right? People like something that's natural. And that kind of review is what makes it so fucking good, because it just integrates seamlessly with the For You page. It just feels like another brain rot video on their For You page. It doesn't scream like, oh, they're just trying to sell me something. So on Meta, let's say TikTok Shop never existed, right? And you couldn't get access to all the content on there. You would have to go source creators and try and make them film a really authentic review, and you would try and upload that and see what works. And it's a lot of effort, but once you do find a video like that, it's usually what carries and what gets you the most sales. But when you have TikTok Shop, it's driven by this affiliate marketing. It's driven by creators making these videos promoting these products. So what that means is you have access to a shit ton of UGC content made by real people, and you can bring it to Meta, where UGC works great. Hope you guys can see the connection there. I guess the third thing that kind of brings these two together is that most of the products on TikTok Shop are dropshipped, similar to how most of the products are dropshipped on Meta, which is what we do here. So essentially, almost all the products that are sold on TikTok Shop, you can source from the factories, like on 1688.com. You can, get access to them and sell the exact same thing and bring them to Meta. So to kind of show you how this works, I'll just go onto Calidata and I'll just go to the product section right here, and essentially you just see every single product on TikTok Shop. And what's great is it essentially allows you to not have to doom scroll forever to find a product, and even when you do find a product organically on your For You page, you can't really validate it and see all the content, the revenue growth. You can't really analyze it and figure out, hey, is this product validated enough to run on Meta? So essentially what I do is I kind of just scroll around and I pay attention to the revenue, the growth of the chart, and I kind of want something that's selling decently on TikTok Shop to bring onto Meta. Because first off, you need to make sure it's selling on TikTok Shop. If it's not, there's no buying power. You can find such a good fucking product, right? It can be amazing, but if it doesn't have buying power and people aren't actively buying it, it doesn't matter. So of course, there's so many fucking people like you and me that use Calidata, and this whole front page here, stop trying to run these products. I don't know why people try and run these. It's obviously burnt. There's so many people looking at this, and there's so many people who have probably tried to run these products, and you just can't, because we're all looking at the same front page. Everyone's gonna have tried these already. Your goal is to kind of find something that's in the process of blowing up, but that hasn't blown up yet, if that makes sense. So to do that, what I did to find this product was I just looked in the past week, and I started scrolling around, obviously not looking at the front page. I went deeper in and I started looking and tried to figure out, okay, what appeals to me? What kind of catches my eye, right? So for the sake of this video, let's pretend like I just scrolled a shit ton and I came across a product, right? Let's say I came across this one. The way I would validate it is just by looking at the product itself. There's a couple of criteria I look for, right? So first things first, is it visual? So products that scale the quickest and that are the easiest to scale are just going to be products that sell themselves. So I imagine, okay, if I just showed a video of this product, would it sell? Or do I have to do a shit ton of explaining? And of course you can do that, it's just going to make it a little bit harder. And with this product that I sold, which isn't this by the way, but with the product that I scaled really quick, it was really visual and I didn't need to do too much explaining to sell it. The second thing I kind of look at is, okay, what problem does this solve, right? Because going back to what I said, dropshipping is all about impulse buying, right? So for example, with this product right here, these are just the fleece lined tights, right? So if you guys don't know, these are basically tights that are just lined with fleece inside, so it keeps the girls warm when they're wearing them. And in the winter, right, girls can't wear tights, girls can't really dress up how they want just because it's cold, it's gonna make them feel uncomfortable. So these tights essentially are lined with fleece and match their skin tone so that they can dress. And that solves the problem of the weather, but deeper than the weather, it solves the problem of insecurity. And that's kind of the deeper desire behind this product, right? Because on the surface level, it keeps them warm. But beyond that, it solves the problem of insecurity because the cold is what prevents them from dressing. And if they can't dress, they won't feel as confident when they go outside. So you really want to think of, okay, what is the deep desire this product is solving? You can't just sell some stupid fucking fidget spinner because why would anybody impulse buy that, right? But you really need to understand that dropshipping is all about impulse buying. And you have to think, okay, what problems are people having that I can solve that will allow them to impulse buy? The third thing I kind of look at is the pricing and the cost of goods, the offer, all those things. So you want to sell a product for at least $30 on Meta, because if you don't, if you sell a product for like 20, right, you're gonna have to get a customer within at least every $10 of ads that you pay for. And getting a customer within that small of a frame is pretty fucking hard. So if you can sell a product for $30 or more, that's gonna give you a little more room to spend on ads to acquire the customer, right? Okay, so back to the paint.net. I really just want to explain why it's so important to sell like higher AOV products, ideally above like $30 to $35. The higher AOV the better, but of course you can scale with like a $40 product. That's not a problem at all, but you cannot scale with a $20 fucking product. And it's purely just because of logistics, right? So let's say I'm selling a product for $20. I source it for $5, that leaves me with $15 left, right? But you're forgetting one thing: ad spend, spending money on ads. So let's say every $10 I spend on ads, I get a customer. That means I have a 2 ROAS, which is, the target. That's a pretty good return on your ad spend, right? So if I get a customer every $10 and it costs me $5 to actually fulfill the product, that's 10 plus 5 equals 15, right? And I'm selling it for $20. So $20 minus this 15 leaves me with a grand total of 1 McChicken worth of profit, right? So instead of only relying on a couple dollars of profit and having to acquire those customers in such a small window, right? Like $10 is not a lot. That's like 1,000 people at tops. You're being forced to consistently get customers in such a small group of people. Rather than worrying about that, you can sell these higher AOV, these higher average order value products. So with these higher average order value products, 100 being a lot, right? That's like on the higher end. But let's say on average you're sourcing it for $25. That means you have $75 left to profit and acquire a customer, right? So on average, let's say you have a 2 ROAS, a 2 return on ad spend. That means you have a customer within $50, right? And what that means is you source it for 25, you get a customer within 50, boom, you're left with $25 profit. And that's 5 times what you would have made with your $5 profit here, right? So you're not making jack shit with this $5 profit, but in here you'll make that $25 profit. And honestly, like, it sounds way easier said than done, but convincing someone to buy a $100 product is going to be a lot harder than convincing someone to buy a $20 product, right? Just because $100 is a lot of money. But the principle of it is you get good at ecom, you get good at choosing products, and honestly, a product that sells itself, like I said, going back to being really visual, solving a deep problem, even if it's $100, if it's a good product, it'll sell itself. But on top of that, you can seal the deal by making really, really good ads. And once you learn how to find good products and make good ads, selling a product at $50, $100 isn't going to be a problem. You don't want to have to worry about selling these shit fucking products. You don't want to have this mindset that like, oh, the cheaper the product, the more money I'll make, like the more customers, they'll be attracted to the lower price. No. If you can get good at making good ads and choosing a good product, you can make more money in the long run with a higher value product. Anyways, back to Calidata. So once you find a product that you kind of like, what you want to do is you want to go down and go to the video and ad section, and you literally have access to so much fucking UGC. Not only do you have UGC, you have validated UGC that's getting sales. You obviously see the videos that are getting millions of fucking views, and you see that they're actually generating sales. They're not just getting views because it's entertaining. They're getting views and they're converting them and getting sales from them. And this is the best type of UGC that you can get. As I said before, if this didn't exist, if all this didn't exist, you're gonna have to go find creators yourselves and hope that they can make you videos that will get sales. But when you're on Calidata, you have access to all the fucking content that's not only viral, but it's also getting sales. So this is already validated. You don't have to go out finding the creators, making them send you drafts and all these things. You literally have access to everything, and all you can do is just download them and upload them to Meta. So I mentioned earlier that you want to kind of catch a product before it takes off, right? I know this product was like on the front page. This is just a complete dummy product. Do not try running this product, guys. You're not going to make money. But essentially with this product, right, the reason I knew it would do good is because I saw that it was winter related, right? So what I did was I went to Google Trends, and Google Trends is basically where you can see all the search terms people are looking up, right? So I went on Google Trends and just typed the product's name, which is fleece tights. And I went to the past 5 years in the US, and as you guys can see here, boom, this trend is fucking insane. And what I did was I caught it early on, right? I launched this in like mid-October. I caught it early on as people were searching it up, and it just took off. And that's what allowed me to catch it before it got to the front page. And I literally knew it would get to the front page in a couple weeks, and it's literally on the front page right now. So your goal is to kind of catch it before it really takes off, so that you'll be like, hey, this product is going to keep rising in trends. I can catch it before it's at the peak of its trend. And that's what I did with this product right here. I caught it before it took off, and that's what allowed me to scale it super quick because I was on it way before everybody else. You really want to master, catching a product before it takes off, whether it's with Google Trends, whether it's just by looking at the Calidata graph. You can try catching a product on here. If you see the graph growing, you might be catching it early, who knows. But your goal is to kind of validate it and figure out, hey, why is this product growing? Is it going to scale? Is it going to continue growing? Your goal is to try to figure out why. So you can use Google Trends. You can kind of use your 2 cents to figure out, hey, is this problem a really big problem right now? Is it going to continue to grow? And that's what I did with this product right here. So in terms of all the creatives and how I made them for the product, all I did was I went to the video and ad section and just ripped these one to one and uploaded them to Meta. I obviously cut out when it said like TikTok shop and stuff, but these types of ads are literally what most brands are striving to get. Like, these UGC ads are usually the ones that perform the best out of all the other types of ads, right? And I essentially just went and found the most validated UGC, right? As you can see, this one has 1.4 million views, 50K in sales. I just took them, downloaded them, and uploaded them to Meta. So it's pretty fucking simple. To test a product on here, that's all you really need to do. From there, of course, you need to know how to make your own creatives because you can't just rely on these forever. But that's essentially what I did to test the product. So with my testing strategy, I always do one CBO. And if you guys don't know, CBO just basically means campaign budget optimization. And it essentially just allows Meta to decide how it wants to spend on your ads. So I test with $150 on day one. And essentially it chooses how to spend this $150 based on what ads it thinks is good, right? So, you know, it could spend $70 on this ad, $30 on this ad, and like $10 on this, and like it could choose how it spends based on which one it thinks it'll do good. And the goal behind this is to always trust the AI, right? Like I talk about in all my other videos, always let the AI do its work. You don't need to do no ABO bullshit, like ABOs where each ad gets a fixed amount of dollars. You don't need to do that. You want to let Facebook do the work, because if you don't trust the AI, why the fuck are you advertising on their platform, right? And from there, I always just target North America first, so that means USA and Canada. And I don't like testing in like EU countries and stuff. I know some people do it, that's fine. I just like making sure I can get sales here first, because Americans are stupid and that's where you're going to make the most money. And while I'm scaling, I'll expand to other countries, but I don't want to get sales from EU and stuff, because again, they're good, but they're not what's going to make me the big money. I don't really care about making a few extra $100. I want to know if the product will scale in the biggest consumer market in the world, right? So I always target only North America, no other EU, no other big 5 countries, always just only North America with this $150 test. And from there, I usually test with 6 ads total, and I basically make one ad set for each ad, right? Some people, they'll have one ad set and throw all the other ads in here, right? But I like to just make one ad set for every ad, just because it makes it super easy to track which ad is doing good. So ad set 1 will have the first ad set 2 will have the second ad set 3 will have the third ad, and so on and so forth until I have my 6 ads uploaded. And again, I purely do this just for tracking. It makes it a lot easier. You can always throw them all under one instead of having the separate ones, but I think just doing it this way keeps it simple, keeps it easy to track, and is what makes it easy for me to read the data. And within these ad sets, I have to choose what audience the ads are being shown to, right? So I always just trust the Advantage Plus audience and the Advantage Plus placements. And I'll go more into the ad account right now to show you what that means. So now we're in the ad account, and this is basically the Advantage Plus audience and the Advantage Plus placements I'm talking about. And you can find this in the ad set level. And my philosophy behind using Advantage Plus is always going to be the same. It's purely because I always trust the AI, right? Like, we're paying to advertise on the platform that they built, right? So you might as well trust the AI, because it knows how to fucking show your ads. Like, let's say it was complete shit and the AI just wasted your money. They would be losing money, because essentially Meta makes money off of you spending ads, and you're only going to spend ads if you're making money, right? So it's going to try and help you make money in the easiest and the quickest way possible. And that's why they have these options available, right? If you try and go change the audience, you literally have to change this. This is literally selected by default. You have to click to switch original audience options. It's literally like hidden. It's so small. The reason they're doing this is because they know their AI is good. They know in the long run you're going to make more money with their AI. If their AI wasn't good, then they would let you, have more freedom. They wouldn't try and hide this button right here. And by the day, they're removing the interests that you can choose. Like, the interest list is like decreasing day by day. They're doing all this so that you can trust their AI. So you want to trust their AI with the audience, and you want to trust their AI with the placements. And the placements is just like Instagram Reels, Instagram Story, Facebook Reels. You want to just let the AI know where to put your ads. Alright, so I'm back in a different t-shirt. I decided to just finish this video later on just because I had some work to do. I have some pretty big things coming, but anyways, I kind of wanted to talk about how I actually scaled it and like the revenue, the ad spend, stuff like that. And I'm also going to talk about the interesting things, like the crazy shit that happened. I'll mention that towards the end, but I guess I'll talk about, how I tested it and like my numbers. So as you can see, I launched this on the 12th. And I tested it with the $150 and got $120 back. And in the first 3 days of testing, you don't want to look for profitability, right? You're not trying to make money. you're mainly just looking for data and stuff. So I saw I had 10% add to cart rate. Like I had some people reaching checkout and some conversions. Like you don't even need like a bunch of sales. Like even one sale day one is good enough. Or like you can even have no sales, right? But if you're like add to carts and checkouts are insane, that kind of speaks for itself. So the first day you're testing, you're really just looking for good data here. And I was lucky enough to get 3 sales. So I was like, okay, like this makes sense. Like this could be good, right? So keep it the same budget. 246 the next day, right? The add to cart percentage went up a bit. Everything was looking good, right? I got more sales. Again, I just didn't touch anything. And this is purely because, you know, when you're testing, you just want to let the pixel optimize and you want to, you know, let it gain data. Because again, the pixel is being thrown in a random pool of people. It doesn't really know the target audience, right? It can kind of make some guesses here and there, but you need to give it money so it can experiment and find the right audience. And that's what I did, right? So the second day, you know, again, I didn't touch it and I was actually profitable this day. And I'm pretty sure, let me check actually, I forgot because it's been a while. Yeah, the next day it did worse. And, you know, most people would just crash out and panic and be like, bro, my brand is dead. Like, no, bro, like losses are normal when you're testing. It's all about data. It's not about profitability. Like I was profitable this day, right? And the next day it just went to shit. And that's fine. Like it's okay. Like Facebook has days where it's not going to perform well. And like, again, you're giving your pixel like a brand new product, a brand new audience. So obviously it's going to like try and find the best one. And it might have bad days, it might have good days. It just takes time to get that consistency, right? So going into the next day, so this happened, right? To be honest, you can essentially this day what I did was surf scaling. And again, this is kind of relevant to you guys, but just because I have a little more knowledge and stuff, basically what I saw was early on, like after the 3 days I tested, I saw like, oh shit, like okay, the pixel kind of really narrowed down the audience and it was like really profitable. Like early on, like literally like before I even woke up, I was getting a bunch of sales. I was already at like $200 or something in revenue, and I was like 4 or 5 ROAS, and I was like, fuck it. So what I did was I surf scaled, and what this means is I just doubled the budgets every like couple hours, right? So I was testing at 150, I doubled it to 300, and then if the performance is good, I was still getting sales. Like if it kept going the way it was before in terms of performance, I just doubled the budgets again, right? So let's say when I doubled it to 300, the performance was the same, I was still getting good sales, the ROAS was still good. I doubled it again to 600 a couple hours later, and I just repeated this process until, you know, my ROAS stabled out at like 2-3 ROAS. So that's kind of what I did. It's a little more advanced. You guys don't need to do that. Like I have capital to kind of throw around and like take risks like that, right? But you don't need to do that at all. You know, you can normally just scale pretty slowly. I recommend scaling by 20%, right? So if you spent 150, right, scale by 20%, that's 180. You're going to set your budget to 180. But again, I have capital, so that's kind of what I did because I saw really good metrics. And again, if you're early on testing and you see like really high ROAS, you can just double the budgets. But this only works when you're really early. And that's why I did such a risk here, because I saw insane numbers. I was like, fuck it, like I'm going to just surf scale and see what happens. So going into next day, the sales dropped a bit. And that's because what I do is after I'm doubling the budgets, right, it's going to spend like, you know, $400, I'd say $400-$500. So I kind of just reset it back to what it spent. So I think on this day it spent about 400. So I didn't want to like bump it up too heavily, so I just reset it back to about 300-400, and I didn't touch the budgets, it just spent. And on this day as well, like it's like it wasn't like as profitable as this day right here, but you know, I'm assuming on this day it just kind of rode the wave, right? But on the next day, kind of had to reset, and you know, I bumped the budgets heavily, right? Like I was at 150 originally, like for 3 days, and then I just bumped it to like 400, right? And again, on this day, performed just because I was riding the wave. But on this day, it started from, you know, from scratch at $400. Like at 12 a.m., it was getting ready to spend $400 for the day. Whereas on this day, right, I was gradually increasing it throughout the day. But here, like it was kind of forced to like re-optimize and like get used to spending that large budget earlier on without that little like wave to ride, you know? So again, I was still in the green, but you know, I knew like, okay, like I kind of had to slow down a bit. Like, you know, I'm spending $400 a day. Like I can't go crazy doubling budgets like this early on. So again, kept it stable, let it optimize, and boom, I'm back up to where I was. I kept the ad spend the same. I just let it optimize at that spend the day before, right? On the $700 day, I just let it optimize. And then the next day, it printed, right? Like 2-3 row stay. And I want you guys to kind of use this as a lesson, right? You want to let your ads optimize. Like, you don't want to be, panicking when things drop. You don't want to be like, freaking out. Like, you want to just understand that it's learning, it's trying to find the audience, right? And of course you can do it the safe way. You can just scale by 20% every single time you're profitable, and you just let it learn slowly, right? Or once you have more experience in capital, you can kind of be more aggressive with it and kind of ride the wave, right? Like anytime you have a really, really good day, you can just double the budgets to let it learn quicker. And again, I don't recommend that as a beginner. It's a little bit unique. A lot of people don't really do it, but that's usually what I do to let the pixel learn. But again, if the results are normal and like I don't see like super insane results, I just scale by 20%. If it does bad the next day, that's fine. It's just optimizing. So again, let that be proof right here, right? This day kept the budgets the same, but the performance went down. But I knew if I just let it stay and optimize, the next day I would make money. So now we're getting into the whole scaling process, and I actually don't remember too well what happened, but I think, yeah, I was plateauing a little bit. I was just like riding it out, just making sure like I wasn't scaling too aggressively. So, after this day, I scaled the budgets again 20%, and then, this day was like 2-3 ROAS, right? And then usually what happens when you scale the budgets is you might see a little bit of a dip in performance, but it's nothing crazy. So again, pretty similar numbers, right? 1.3k, 1.2. And I did spend more on ads this day, but again, it's expected a little performance dip. Don't freak out. That's kind of the message I'm trying to teach. Like, you can't freak out. It's all about letting it optimize. So this day I spent the exact same amount on ads as I did on this day, and it just fucking tanked. And this usually happens when you have a bunch of competitors coming in and stuff like that. Your CPMs go up, all these things, because this was a seasonal product. But it usually, you'll have days where it just tanks, and you can kind of tell by the conversion rate, right? My conversion rate was 1.5, and the day before was 2.3, so it almost like half, right? Not really, but it dropped almost a whole percent. And that kind of, when you see a huge drop in conversion rate, that really is an indicator that like, hey, it's just a bad day, bad traffic, it's not the product. It usually just indicates that like something is just happening with Facebook, whether it be competitors, the AI is kind of freaking out. Like, it's usually not your fault if it's just such a random spike. And again, I was aware of that. So going into the next day, I scaled down the budgets a bit just to be a little safe, just to let it optimize again. And boom, we're back up again. Conversion rate is back up. So I'm like, all right, we're good to go. Everything's looking good. And then boom, scaled again from there. And then you see where I'm going. Like, it's a slow. It's not a linear path. It's not like straight up like this. It's kind of comparable to like your progression in like e-commerce or anything, right? Like, it's always gonna be ups and downs, ups and downs. It's never one straight linear path, right? You're gonna have one day where it's up, one day down, up, down, but it's straight up. It's eventually going to the trend line is gonna be overall straight up. It's just the actual journey isn't a linear path. It's kind of like crypto, right? Like, you have like a resistance line, all that stuff, but that's what happened this day. Like, I knew like, okay, I let it optimize and I fucking printed. And that's kind of what I just wrote out. Like, I just wrote out that wave of letting it fucking print. Again, I was getting aggressive scaling this. Like, I went from an $800 day to a 3K day, and I scaled the budgets pretty aggressively. This comes with knowledge and experience, but I always recommend scaling by 20%. And as you guys saw, 6K day. And now we're getting into like the bigger numbers. We're getting into like shit, like about to make 5 figures a day on this store. And this is when you have to be really, really careful about budgeting, and you can't be like doubling budgets all the time and stuff like that, because with this you're going to be reaching a super larger amount of people, like a larger group of people. And if you're doubling the budgets at this scale, like, it's going to make it a lot harder, because Facebook has to find tens of thousands of people. And that's why you have to be a little more careful. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but my conversion rate has been going up, right? Like 3.8, 4. And this is all because it's optimizing. It's finding the right audience. And like, conversion rate will kind of tell you that. But don't freak out. Like, you don't need like 4% conversion rate at every store. It's a mixture of CPM, CPC. Like, conversion rate by itself isn't just a good metric to look at, but it kind of tells you like, okay, today's a good day, today's a bad day. So going into the 23rd, broke 5 figures, right? I rode the wave. Like, I'm scaling, I'm kind of using my knowledge to scale more aggressively, and we had our first 5-figure day on this brand. And as you guys can see, the conversion rate is maintaining. This is telling me like, okay, Facebook is finding this audience. But because I scaled to this level really quick, the degree to which I'll have those ups and downs is like a lot worse because I scaled here super fast, right? And I think, yeah, going into it, like, you know, today, like, it was, I think today was like a much more profitable day. Like, the ROAS was like crazy, like probably like 3-4, but today the ROAS here is probably like 2, but that's okay. Like, I'm not gonna freak out because this is like an abnormal day. As you guys can see, like, this entire time frame, like, boom, it's just such a linear growth. Like, this is insane, right? $800 day, 12K day. Like, when you grow that fast, you're gonna have pretty big inconsistencies, and that's okay. That's, you guys have to understand, you can't freak out, right? So it's okay. Like, I'm still profiting, it doesn't matter. Boom, next day I'm back up, 15K day almost, right? And conversion rate is still good. You know, I'm kind of seeing like, okay, like, even though there's these fluctuations, I'll still get back up. And after this, like, this wave, some crazy shit happened, right? Like, I think my performance was like kind of flatlining. Yeah, like, this entire week so much shit went down. Like, I had people ripping my ads, competitors coming in, and this, again, on these days I was profitable. I was kind of forced to scale down and find winner ads and stuff like this entire week. But this is like kind of the sad part, the downfall. As you guys see, 4K, 2K, 800. it was unfortunate. It was like a steady decline, I think, from this entire week. It just, yeah, straight decline. And I guess this is kind of the interesting part of e-commerce, the reality of e-commerce. Long story short, what happened was a competitor paid an employee to go into my ad account, delete my ads, and they took the ads and uploaded it themselves. Sounds crazy, right? So essentially, this is the ad, one of the ads they deleted, right? As you can see, it says post deleted, and, you know, it wasn't like Facebook banned it or anything. It'll say it's rejected if they did. This is someone manually came in and deleted it, and it's not like I got hacked or anything. This is a very common thing in e-commerce. Nobody ever talks about. I don't know why nobody talks about it, but it's pathetic, right? Like, you can pay an employee, they're called insiders, you can pay them like thousands of dollars to go into another competitor's ad account and they'll do whatever you want, right? You can just look at their ad account, see how they structure their ads, see their winning ads. That's called an ad account spy. It's just purely for information. You can delete some posts, right? Kind of like what they did to me. They deleted a bunch of my ads. You can delete campaigns. Like, obviously, the more extreme, the more it's gonna cost. But this person, I know who it is too, because again, they deleted all these ads, right? And that's why I can't even fucking show you like how the spend I can't even show you like the ads I was doing. I can't even show you how I was launching it because everything's just gone. Like, it's fucked. But basically, and this whole ad account is disabled, by the way. That's like a whole nother story. But essentially, they deleted my ads and they went, uploaded it themselves, and they did it overnight, so I didn't know. So my campaign, it wasn't even spending properly, and when I woke up, I saw everything was gone. Like, most of my good ads were gone, right? And I look up like my product name on ad library and I see my exact fucking ads I uploaded posted by somebody else. Like, and they couldn't have made it more obvious, but this is a very common thing. Not very common, sorry, but this isn't unheard of, right? Like, to you guys, you might think this is super strange, this is like crazy, this is illegal, but it's common in the sense that, like, you know, if you ask anyone who's doing revenue and you ask them, hey, are insiders real? They'll be like, fuck yeah, they probably used them before. Like, there's like discords for this shit, bro. It's crazy, but that's kind of the interesting thing. And of course, like, you never want to be discouraged by this shit. That's why this is kind of like a side story. I don't really care. Like, this is like nothing. The money from this is nothing compared to the money I'm making from my other stores. And the main brand I show you guys at the start of this video, it's the main brand I'm always going to talk about. Like, that shit, like, nobody can touch me there. It's all custom, it's all USA production. Like, I have such a huge moat over that brand, and that's the goal. You want to be able to build a brand to have a huge moat around yourself where anyone who comes in, they just get destroyed by you. Like, you'll be spending so much on ads, you'll have so much custom content that, like, even if they try taking you down, like, they can't do anything because you'll just be back up. And all your content is custom, so if they try stealing it, you just take them down. And that's what I do. Anyone who comes in, they usually stealing my custom content, and I just take them down. And that's the goal with this e-commerce stuff. That's what I preach, that's what I teach. Trying to do this properly and not just make like some stupid pump and dump store, so that you can build a legitimate brand that has like an actual monopoly over the product, right? And that's what I have, and that's what's gonna allow me to exit this company. You know what I'm saying? Big things coming up. I can't wink for shit, but anyways. that's kind of what I preach with this shit, you know, like building moats, building something real. And this just kind of shows you how stupid shit that goes on. And again, never be discouraged. Like, it's not common. I don't know why I said common, but it's just something that can happen. You just have to be prepared for it, right? This usually happens for the seasonal products where it's like scaling really, really quick, or like something new that comes out. Like, this is usually what it happens for. But again, you know, this isn't going to happen to everyone, but this is kind of things that do happen in e-commerce. And I just thought this would be a really, really good case study to kind of show you guys what goes on behind the scenes. But yeah, guys, this is kind of the story of how I scaled this brand from, you know, 0 to 100K, back to 0 super quick. Again, this product, I would have done 7 figures with this going into November and December just because it was super seasonal. But I don't care, because my brand makes me more money than none of this or any of these things will make me. And I'm going to get a fat exit on it, and, you know, it's going to be good. So again, I don't care. Like, that's why you have brands. That's why you build longevity, so that when shit like this happens, it does not matter at all. So yeah, that's kind of the story with this brand. I hope you guys learned a lot about, you know, product testing, how to find products, you know, testing quick, scaling, my philosophy behind this. And I hope you guys kind of realize that, like, there's a lot of stress that goes on, and it's not just like flashy numbers. There's like shit that can bring you back down super quick. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this video is kind of long, but I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.